Here we go. Missed him. When you miss a fish, what you want to do is you want to let that bait fall right back to the bottom and then continue the retrieve, because here we go. You got to let them kind of load on it, which I thought I did. It doesn't feel that big. But as a guide, probably the biggest mistake that I see my clients make is when they lose a fish, they just give up on the retrieve. And I tell them, don't do that, because you're around them. Sometimes what they do with a swim bait is they'll tap, 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 and then you want to wait until you feel them load on it. And I thought I did the first time, but I missed them. But that's just a 2-pounder. I'm going to try to catch a bigger one. I started feeling that good bottom. Here we go. Missed them again. They're hitting it really weird. We have no wind and clouds, and sometimes they just hit it weird, like when you have these conditions. He pulled it pretty good. I kind of let him. He's going to come back for it. Watch. Missed him again. I'm letting him load too. But the good thing is that there's more fish here. And I know I'm going to get bit when I feel that hard bottom. I had just started bumping that bottom. You can see, if you look at my rod tip, you'll see that rod tip just bounce. And that's really what you want to do with this bait, is just creep it along the bottom. If that bait is above the bottom, they tend to follow it and they just don't eat it as good. But when that bait is on the bottom, I think it just, to them, it feels like it's trying to get away, or it's deflecting off of stuff. If you do have soft bottom, it's making a cloud. And it just triggers a lot more bites. So you just have to slow roll this thing on the bottom. I don't know if this fish is still with me. He may have turned around, but I had a couple good bites there, and I just never got a good hook in him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire the same exact cast in that same direction. A lot of this stuff when you're fishing off the bank is I'm just gonna, if he is following it, sometimes what I'll do is I'll speed the bait up, let it hit the bottom. I'm running out of cast here, so I just want to see. You got to almost think that there's a fish following it, especially when you get bit during a cast. But I think he probably turned around. But like I was saying, the thing is, like when you're fishing off the bank like this, you're trying to find a spot within a spot. Now this area that we're fishing it's kind of like a long hump. But around that hump, there's only a few areas where there's a hard spot. Now, there's not any defined rock, it's just gravel. But that gravel's where those fish, it's amazing on when you get cold water situations with smallmouth, they gravitate towards hard bottom. I should have had him that one time. Got to catch a couple to get them fired up. I thought he had it, but he only had the tail. That's why I ripped the tail off, because I set the hook. But no, I will get, I mean, it's like as soon as you hit that hard bottom, it's game on. Here we go. He knocked slack into it. That was cool. It's all about lining up the right cast. I mean, it takes a couple minutes to kind of do it, but what I did is I put my spot lock down on that Ultrex, and I knew I was gonna get bit. I just had missed one. They're kind of eating it funny. That's a chunk. Nice fish. You think that fish is feeding up for the winter or what? Awesome. He's hooked right where he should be too. You just got to be patient when you fish this swim bait. You know, they have a tendency to tap it a bunch, especially when it's calm like this. You got to let them load up on it. I waited till he got, you know, some slack in the line. I picked up that slack and set the hook. It's a nice fish, man. Look how, look at the belly on that thing, man. That's awesome. That's worth coming out here when it's cold. When you talk about a light bite. Oh, he come flying out of the water. The idea is to try to keep them down, but sometimes they don't want to do that. So you got to keep steady pressure on them.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.